Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode. Today's episode is on Life Path 22 or the 22-4. But this is a master number and it's an interesting number. I also have this number, but as my soul urge, so not as my life path number. But you are a master builder. You're a master architect, and that's what you are here to do. Those on the 22-4 life path are here to work through issues of cooperation, responsibility, and process to establish a stable and secure foundation, achieving their goals through a patient process involving mutually supportive teamwork. However, since our life purpose entails special challenges, 22-4s have strong tendencies to over-cooperate, giving their all and then falling into resentment and withdrawal. Their ambitions can also create blind spots, so they tend to skip necessary steps on the path to their goals. All right. So, this is an interesting number because we have the double 2, and the 2 is a cooperation and balance. So we have double cooperation and double balance, which means that and also watch the 2 video for this because that's going to be more in depth for this. But you are really good at cooperating. You are really good at working with other people. You are relationship driven. You're very good at this, but your Achilles heel is balance. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the balance of giving and receiving for you is can be a little bit out of whack, and that's what you are here to learn. And you have this twice in your chart. So this is big. So you have a lot of resentment. I have to say can every time. You can have a lot of resentment because if you are not working your numbers in the positive or in the light side, you can go towards resentment. If you're doing everything perfect, you will not be in resentment, but it will mean that you have found the perfect balance of giving and receiving. And by nature, you tend to give a little bit more than you receive, and you're fine with that. That's all good. But at some point, it will start building up and building up and building up and building up, and it will be a bit too much. And at some point, you might be, why am I the only one giving here? And then you might go into resentment mode. And this is on all planes of your life. So this is in relationships. This is at work. This is even doing sports, doing your household chores. It really doesn't matter. It's you naturally just do this. And for you, the one where it's most visible is in your relationships because you are the cooperative type. So in your relationships, you will see that you are doing this actually a lot. And you start to resent other people for not reciprocating what you are giving. And this is something where you can really grow. And once you master this step, you're gonna be like this unstoppable relationship person who can have great relationships with anyone. And this is such an amazing skill to have. Basically, if you think about it, everything depends on relationships. If you have great relationships, you can get anywhere in the world. if you have like this DJ uncle and or a DJ friend, and they're really popular, and I'm saying this one because actually someone I know has this, and you have those relationships. You can go backstage to great parties, or let's say you have a great relationship with some of the biggest coaches, then you can go to seminars, maybe even for free. You can get so much done when you just have the correct ins overall. Not overall, when you have the correct ins within a lot of places. So this is nice, because if you're doing it correctly, everybody likes you, and they don't have to like you, because that's not your goal, that they need to like you. So you can let that go if that's something that's kind of holding you back. You're just a really nice person when you are working your magic, when you're working your numbers. But besides all this, you also have the stability and process of the 4. And the 4 really wants that stability. So that's also what you are looking for in relationships. But for you, it's so strong that you are actually on the more like the practical level. You're also a master builder, to build foundations and to be here on this planet to make sure that the world is more stable when you leave it than when you came into it. You're a master number. This is really important. And by the way, all master numbers are old souls. This is a path you chose yourself. The 22 has a lot of challenges, because all master numbers have a lot of challenges. And you just have to get through them. And you will get through them, because these challenges wouldn't come to you yet if you cannot handle them. So if there's anything in your life like exploding, not working out, it's that sucks, and I feel for you, but it's not the end. It's definitely not the end. This is just one of the things that you actually chose yourself, and this is where the inner strength comes in. If you can feel that, like, okay, I'm not the victim, I'm taking responsibility for this. I chose to be number 22, a master architect, and this is what I'm here to do. And obviously it's gonna have a lot of you're gonna be big. You're gonna help tons of people gain stability through your actions. So yeah, obviously it's not gonna be like an easy stroll in the park. It can be, but that's not what usually happens. Because we are growing out of these challenges that we're overcoming. And well, the thing is, it can still be easy, because the way you handle these challenges can be easy. But the challenges will be there nonetheless, because you are here to learn something. You are here to give something, and that's your prerogative. That's what you're here to do. So deal with it, accept it. If things happen and you're like, why does this always happen to me? Because you chose it. You chose it. So if you can embrace that, you're halfway there. And if you can even lightheartedly play around with it, and like challenges, they are challenges, so they're not fun. It could be like big financial challenges, or relationship challenges, or health challenges. They're not going to be fun, but the way you can work through it is up to you. And yeah, the reaction is up to you, and you can handle it as gracefully as you can, or you can handle it as resentful as you can. And that's really something that's a word for the word resentment, really the 2. So what else is important? You are a master builder. which means that you're going to build amazing stuff. And this can be any way, shape or form. You can build great relationships, so build a great family, build a company that can feel like your stable home. You can build boats, you can build cars, you can build basically anything. You can build websites, you can build communities, anything that gives you stability in some way, shape or form. So a boat is a little bit weird, but it still offers you stability on the water. So it is also a good example. But anything that has to do with stability, you're creating an app for someone who or that will give you a stable income, can give you stability as well. And you love building, this is something that lights you up. Building new stuff, thinking about new things, and really creating new things. You're also a really good manifester. You might be one of the best manifestors of all the types. Because you have the vision and you can also create it. You do have to use your 4 number in this case. You have to use it wisely because it has the balance in there. The balance for the you have the balance, but also the process. The balance is from the 2. The process. So you have to do everything step by step and make sure that you are doing every step. That's very important for you. And if you do this, you can be an absolute magnificent manifester. So one of the best in the world. You are. You just are. And if you can make sure that you can do everything step by step, then you're gonna be unstoppable. The same goes for if you can figure out a way, let's say that once in your life you did something that you did really step by step and you did it perfectly, and it can be something as small as cleaning your house. And it can be something like building a YouTube channel or building a company, something that you did that was really successful, and you can reproduce this on other tasks. So any task you can put there, and you can overcome it if you just work with the process and going step by step, being patient. But I think that's once you get the hang of this is like a superpower that you have. And really do it in like really small steps. Like for me it's the soul urge, so it's a bit difficult to compare it, but I work really well with processes. Right now I'm working on a freelance gig, and I'm building this application, and I'm already building it in my head. So you're going about it step by step, and I see the big picture in my head, and that's what you have as well. You see the big picture and you want to get there fast, but you still have to break down the entire process. So instead of it's one thing like build a house, we're now gonna separate it in really small stuff, like make the blueprint for the house, buy all the necessary equipment that we need to build the house, hire some workers, drawing it in a 3D program so you can actually see the complete house. and build it in 3D first, and draw it, and like all the small steps, and do the plumbing, and do the electricity, and do the roof, and do the bathroom, and everything till the smallest detail. There's almost no detail too little. That's really important for you. You are. That's also a good thing. You are really good at making mistakes, and you usually only make mistakes once, because you are learning a lot of lessons in this life. Yeah, that works for you. Yeah, you're an amazing type. That's for sure. Health-wise, you do have to take care of yourself, and I also talked about this, I think, when I was handling the four. The four has like stability issues. So everything that's like stability within your body can be something, and that's foundational. Yeah, it can be something that is actually working against you. For example, your lower back, or your ankles, or your feet, or your knees, or your hips. If there's anything there that's not feeling as good, that means that there's blocked energy somewhere, and you're not working your four correctly. So there's some kind of balance that you're not really doing correctly. And that's you can look at this yourself. You can just look at your life and see and be honest, because you can be a bit I won't say delusional, but it's not really delusional. It's more like you're not seeing it. It's in your blind spot, but you actually know it's there, but you're kind of neglecting it. So that's where you need to where you need to look at. But you need to build big things, and you need to believe that you can build these big things. But confidence is not really an issue for you. That's just me projecting my 11 onto you. Now you have a lot of confidence. You can be more of the blue type. So that's an interesting one, because you like the stability everywhere, and people really need that stability from you, and you are actually, if you're working your numbers correctly, you are also giving this to them, and so people can start leaning on you, and they can really use you as their rock, as their foundation within their life. And I think a lot of 22s have this in the companies that they're in, that people are really leaning on them. You are very knowledgeable, you are smart, intelligent, and you are more of a realistic type. So if you were like one of the elements, you would be the earth type. I'm the wind type. I'm the one that goes all over the place with my creativity, but not with my other numbers. It doesn't work like that. But you are like earth. You are the ground, and you're keeping the other like creative types. You're keeping them grounded. So you're really important. In the world, but also in the workplace. So that's something you should keep in mind, that for you this is normal, this is basic, this is what you need. But for others this is not the case. So please take that into consideration when you're talking to people, or when you're maybe judging them for not doing it correctly. They do not work the same way you do. They don't need that stable base. They need it, but they don't need it as you do intrinsically. You really need to have that. Others, it's nice if you have that, but it's not something. It doesn't feel like a need for me. I'm not sure if I'm getting my point across because I need it, but I don't feel like I need it. That's more. I think that's better. Better way of explaining it, because it's really nice to have that stability. And if there's someone that is offering me that stability, and I can go do my own thing and fly around, and I know that I'm still tethered to you, and you can at some point reel me in again. That's obviously that's really nice, and it's not something I feel like I need, but it is something that I benefit from. Yeah, I think that explained it a little bit better. And that's also, it's not your job to keep everyone grounded, but it is your job to show them your way of thinking and your the way you work. It's important that they have that they see it and they have the awareness, and you don't need to actually literally pull them down. I feel like that's not your job, but it is your job to show them, like, here is the ground is over here, and if you want to come back down, you can get here, and I will even lend you a hand so you can get back here, because sometimes the others need to be more flexible, because you are a pretty rigid person. You can learn to be a little bit more flexible, and I think in the end I will tell you which other videos you can watch, and it's the law of one of them is the law of flexibility, the other one is the law of balance. So a lot of things that are that you can still grow towards. It's not like a bad thing that you're rigid, because rigid is good, but like if you see like really tall trees, they are rigid, but they're still a bit flexible. They can move in the wind, because if they wouldn't move, they would actually break. And that's the level of flexibility that you also want. You don't need to have that flexibility that this tree, if we're keeping this analogy, this tree can change locations and start walking. That's not your job, but it is your job to make sure that you are that stable environment. And even if you bend this way, you always get back to your own foundation. So when there's this storm, people can hold on to you, so to say, and then at the end of the storm you will still be at the same place, if you are working your positive. Because in your negative, you can actually be more of a fleeting type, like the friend you see every now and again, because he's then you were not really grounded. Then you're more like you're playing the air type, the air element, but you actually aren't the air element. So you're not working your strength. So same if I would be playing the fire type, I can play the fire type as well. I can play it, but it's not who I am. It's not how I work. And I do like it, and I can. I think that's actually I can get lit on fire. So when there's things when others get really enthusiastic about stuff, I kind of light up, and that fire goes. I can feel that fire, and then I can keep working on it. For example, if it's a project, someone's really excited about it, and I keep working, and they're actually not in the picture anymore because they gave me an assignment and we're 2 weeks in now, and then my fire keeps getting less and less and less until I have a conversation with them again, and then it lights up again. So for me, it's not a natural state to to have that. So for you, that's the same with the air or the fire or ground and whatever. It's not exactly the same. So stay within your own. I won't say lane, but you can obviously just explore it. I think that's a good thing. You are good at exploring things as well, making mistakes and just going with it. So and learning from those mistakes. So, and in this case, I don't really consider it like a mistake because you are learning from this. So even though you're working your numbers not the way you could be, you are learning a ton of stuff, and yeah, you're not this type, and then you are not this type, so you come back stronger as a 22-4. So that's some information I wanted to share. Let's see what else we can talk about. Yeah, so family is can be really important to you to have. There's one thing here that I don't understand. It was with the 4 as well, and I kind of skipped over it because I didn't really understand it, but maybe it will make sense to you. There have been some issues in your family. I don't know in what regard, so it doesn't really work as well for you. And every time I read about the 4, there's some kind of issue with your family, and maybe this makes sense to you. It doesn't to me. So maybe you take a look at this. What wasn't working? What maybe your parents did not give you the stability that you were craving for, and in your own family, and it kind of depends on what age you are right now, but let's say you have a family or you want to start a family. This is where you can make up for it, kind of. That's what it feels like to you. So this is where you can make sure that it works the way you want it to work. And you can get rid of the old resentment. So yeah, take from this what you want, because I'm not entirely sure what this means to you. All right. So you are someone who is really good at serving other people. You're not the type who wants to make their own life. Well, you want to make your own life better, but for you, your drive is more to help others, and you feel good helping others. So you are really here in service to others, which is also the name of my podcast. So if you want to listen to this, if you're already listening to this, thank you for listening to this. Maybe you found this on YouTube, and it's also on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google, on Amazon. It's on a lot of platforms. So now you know, and you are in service to others. And that's also where you shine. And that's, like I said, you're the stability, you're the foundation for others. You have to make sure that you first are stable to yourself. So you are creating a stable life. And once you have that stability, you can give that stability to others as well. So it's like the saying, fill your own cup first, and then you will start to overflow, and you can give that to others, because you cannot give from an empty cup. Okay, so here are some guidelines and recommendations. So make friends with yourself first, by integrating your conflicting parts. Stay open to feedback from friends, and check if you are giving too much. Whenever it feels like you are giving too much, give a little bit less, because giving too much will lead to resentment, will lead to you exploding at some point. So here is how it works, and I explained it in the other video as well. When you keep giving, at first it feels really good. It feels good and good and good and good, but at some point the spectrum kind of flips. So this is negative, this is positive. So it's positive, 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 and at some point it flips around. So now this is negative, and you keep giving, and here's the point where you are like, F all of you, I'm always giving, you're never giving anything back, and then you're exploding, and you're you can actually break off your relationships with people because of these things. So when you notice like it's going well, and at some point, and you know when this happens, because when you're doing this, you start to hear those little voices in your head that will tell you, yeah, but you can still do this, and yeah, but you can still do that. If you are having the yeah, but, you're actually too far. That's the point where you stay within. You stop giving more in that regard. So if this is let's think of a nice example. This is more for me than for you, but let's say when you're playing football, you're always passing the ball, but they're not giving it back to you. So this, for me, this is a nice example. You're passing, but every time you're in the correct spot to make the goal, they're not passing it to you, and they're trying it themselves. So at some point, you will go like, screw you guys. You're not getting the ball from me anymore. I'm going solo, and I'm going through the defense, and I'm going to score this goal. And the thing is, this works partially because you're not in a good state of mind anymore. You're in your head and not in your flow of your game anymore. So let's say when this happens and they're not passing you the ball anymore, you can keep the ball a little bit longer, and you do pass, and you coach them, and you tell them what you like, because that's also a thing of the two. You're not telling the other people that this is bothering you. You have to tell them this is bothering me, and also tell them when it starts to flip, and it's gradually getting worse. That's the point where you tell them, preferably even before that happens, but that's pretty much impossible, because then you're still that's kind of like selling your crypto at the top. You don't know where the top is. You don't know exactly. So at this point, when you do know when it starts declining, and when that happens, that's the point where you should be talking about it, throwing it out in the open, because you have a tendency to keep this all inside and keep giving. We're going like this. Keep giving. And then once you do talk about it, it is too late, because it will be very emotional for you. And the less in the negative you're going, the less emotional you are about this, and the better your conversations will be. Master Sri Akashna always says, more emotions, less intelligence. And you are a very intelligent person, so you should not let this get to you and nip it in the bud before it actually becomes something bigger. All right. What's important for you is to stay flexible in your body, but also in your mind. Yeah, so you're not, your body is not most flexible. If you are, I would, if it is, I would actually be surprised. But it's not, for the 4, this is not really the case, but you physically, you are really stable, rigid, and you can be really like that that firm tree. Yeah, and one of the things you have to do is structure your life and appreciate each step on the path. And this is what probably works really well for you, is to have that structure. So, for example, your alarm goes off at 7. You brush your teeth. You have all your routines. You drink a glass of water. You do your meditation. You do your... maybe you even want to do some... sports or some exercise in the morning. Then you're at work at 9. You work till 12. Then you have your lunch till 12:30. Then you have this really structured life that really works for you. For me, it works differently, but for you, this works really well. Because if you have that structure in your life, you already have that stability in that regard. So even if things, let's say your life at this point, you have a lot of challenges and things aren't going well, you might also have like an erratic schedule, and that's one thing you can actually like influence. This is something you can influence yourself, and you can say, okay, let's create that stable base. And that stable base is something that I can maintain, even though other things in my life are exploding. This is something I can do, and that is your base and your foundation, and you can move towards going in the right direction. And having a job helps with that. Having like a purpose at work, having something for you really works. So structure as well, but structure in your house as well. Maybe even structure in your closet. Structure in everything works for you. And what you really thrive on is if you are financially stable. So if you are not financially stable yet, make sure that this is one of your goals. And for you, the best way to do this is just to get a job. If it's well paying, it's even better. And make sure that you are appreciated, because if you're earning not as much as you want to earn, this is where the 2 comes into play, and you will go into resentment, and you will quit this job at some point when you explode. If you have a little bit of resentment right now, go talk to your boss and make sure that you are getting a raise. Because first off, you deserve this, and second off, otherwise, if it doesn't work, go find another job that does do this for you, and that ticks these boxes, because this is important to you. All right, so I kind of have to end this because we're already at 40 minutes. So I think that there's a lot of things pretty clear now. And I still have a couple of questions that you can ask yourself. And then I have a kind of what you can do after this. So if there was anything of value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. And also, I'm putting out some other videos that are not that have not been released yet, that you do need to watch if you're interested in more. But if you're still here, I think you are. And there are videos, but also audios, obviously. Okay, so a couple of questions to ask yourself. When I make decisions, do I base them on my authentic needs and values, or on what I think I'm supposed to do? Do I feel good about what I'm doing for others? What's the next step toward my goals? Whom do I need to forgive or ask for forgiveness? And anything that comes out of these questions, see if there's anything you can actually put into practice. And do it. Okay. So, other videos that you can watch are the number 2, the number 4, the law of process. So that's for to reach your goals one small step at a time. The law of responsibility. For mutual support, you need to know when to say yes and when to say no. The law of patterns. Patterns tend to assert themselves unless we exert strong leverage to change them. The law of honesty. To be honest with others, we first have to be honest with ourselves. So this is for you a big one as well. When somebody asks if something is bothering you and you're saying no while it's actually yes. This is also the honesty that they're talking about. And the final one, the law of balance. Seeing our tendencies to swing from one extreme to another, we find our balance. All right, so thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode. Oh, it was a pleasure to do this again. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.